Sorry.
Take two.
My fault.
Butterworth
Completely
comes in here
Put
eating the
peanuts
peanuts.
down,
You're lucky you have Nicole as your.
Yeah.
Wait till I see Nicole.
No, Nicole's amazing. One of my favorites.
Shout out, Nicole.
Yeah.
Shout out, Nicole.
We're recording.
Oh, we're
now.
recording now. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we got to wait for the music, though. We
Okay.
can't start until the music.
Okay.
There it is.
Can I have my
All right. Come on. Come on. Come on, Easy. Let me see it, baby. You look like Brian, dude. This is just
I
like
look like
Brian.
Brian?
Yeah, that's just what Brian did. He
Too
didn't want to get into
straightforward.
it. Yeah.
I mean,
You gotta move your shoulder.
Give me that
I gotta
sway.
keep it. I gotta keep it.
into your.
Hey.
I gotta keep it between the lines.
Yeah. Well, hey, welcome back to the First Take Podcast. Wherever you are listening or watching, we hope you are having a great day. My name is John. I am with some very special guests today. My best friends,
So sarcastic.
Eric and Lindsey Hebert. Say hello, Eric and Lindsey.
Hello.
Eric and Lindsey.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day, great conversation. We're excited to be with y'all. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't know if you guys know this. It's an incredible podcast that we do, First Take Podcast. I mean, it's just hard to beat, right? You would agree with that?
I think
I
so.
think you've listened to maybe one episode, but it's all
I've
good.
listened to two because.
Okay, Eric,
Never mind. Go ahead.
it kind of is what it is.
I will start now.
Yeah, you'll start now that you're on it.
We'll for sure watch this
sure.
one.
But hey, we're not sponsored.
That's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's pretty tragic
should
that we're
be.
not sponsored. We should be. But what we've been doing is we've been doing what we call our unpaid sponsor segment. And so this is, local companies from around the lake area that we just want to kind of give a shout out to. We've done Westlake Wings, Kumo Sushi, Hot Works, Nichols, and others. And today I thought, since, we're having our first podcast with a lady, Lindsey, I don't know if you knew that. You kind of knew it, right?
Kind of.
Yeah. Hey, for those of you that don't know, we're just going to call out the tension in the room.
Yeah.
We were recording for about 10 minutes and producer Butterworth didn't have...
I'm sorry.
Take two.
This is... It should be first take, but it's actually second take.
It's second take this time.
Yeah.
But it won't happen again.
Minus the
But
peanut
we are
M&Ms.
recording now. So when I ask some of these questions, we're just going to go with it, okay? And so Lindsey is the first lady on our podcast.
Which
And so
did
we're
really surprise me.
Yeah, we're really excited that she's here. But in honor of that, we wanted our sponsorship to really be for the ladies of First
Yes.
Moss Bluff. And we have gone with
Sway.
Boutique here in Moss Bluff. Lindsey, tell us about Sway Boutique.
Well, Sway has pretty much saved me in every last minute situation. They are a great gift shop for yourself, or if you're shopping for somebody else. It's just you walk in and they just have a lot of great gift ideas. And then if you like anything Louisiana, they have a lot of Louisiana themed gifts and like kitchen and.
What about stuff for men?
Well, they have some really good Father's Day stuff right now.
Yeah,
They always,
I was actually surprised by that.
yes. Well, they honestly always have a section for men because they do
Okay.
a really great job with, it's for ladies, but you can also get like baby items for like if you need like a last minute baby gift or just something for your own baby. They have a lot of great smells, and then they have a section for men. And with it being Father's Day, they have a lot, like a good selection for just gift ideas. They have scents that are for men. They have mugs, cups. I was in there getting a last minute gift for a friend, and I happened to see a cute father.
Last minute.
I'm always
So
last minute.
but you've only been a couple of times, right?
Just a few last minutes.
I mean, I can't say with him right here, but
Yeah,
I go
it
there.
seems as though...
I go there, often.
Less than 20, more than 5.
And how long?
Moving on.
Yeah, so listen, hey, go to Sway Boutique for all your gift giving needs.
They're
and just
great.
to kind of check them out, shout out to them.
Sweet Grace.
Oh, yeah. So, producer Butterworth, tell us about this beautiful candle scent that you love.
So they have this scent called Sweet Grace.
Yeah.
It is so sweet. It's in my car.
Is it full of grace?
It's full of grace.
It is.
It's in my car. My friend Bryson has it in his vehicle. Shout out Bryson.
Hey, Bryson.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Do y'all use Sweet Grace on anything?
Well, earlier he turned up his nose to it, but he didn't
take
realize
On
that
first take.
On first take.
Second take, we'll try to do something
he
else.
didn't realize that our laundry detergent that I have that I use that he sneaks into his laundry is the Sweet Grace smell.
Love it.
Good.
Yeah. So it might be worth it for dudes
Pulls my
to check
man
it out
card
too.
a little, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Hey, dude. Hey, dudes could try to be tough, but like we like things to smell good.
I don't want
too.
to stink, man.
Yeah.
You wear cologne?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I better people would be real upset
Mixed
if I did
in
that.
with the Sweet Grace.
Yes, yes. And so, hey, if you're in the comments, we'd like for you to comment maybe something your favorite thing to buy at Sway Boutique.
They have a lot of good things,
Yeah.
a lot of good options. Even if you're a man needing a gift for your wife or whoever, they just have a lot of good gifts.
Or a scent for your
Notated.
car, you know.
So we love our local Moss Bluff companies, Lake area companies,
awesome.
and so glad that Soy is with us. But Eric and Lindsey, I wanted to kind of learn a little bit more about you guys before we dive into the topic that we're going to talk about today. And so maybe tell us a little bit about yourselves, about your family, maybe about your work situation, what you do here at the church at First Moss Bluff, or anything like that you think the people would want to know about you. Eric, we'll start with you, and Lindsey, you can interrupt him whenever he does
Whenever
screw
I
up
need
because it
to be
happened a few
interrupted.
times in the first take. So
Oh well.
yeah.
I'm Eric, and this is Lindsey Hebert, and we've been married for about 4 years.
Yes.
And
Check.
we've got 2 kids, one 10 and one 8, one about to be 9 in the next week or 2.
Yeah.
I think we should still give Trap the shout out, right? Because we
Yes.
gave Trap a big shout out. Trap had a good year at First Baptist Academy.
He
did.
did.
At the
He did.
award ceremony, he was awarded the
He was awarded the Christian Character Award, and I love that they do that. All the kids get awards
Yeah, yeah.
and that are specific to them, but then they hand out at the end this Christian Character Award, and he got it this year, and he was so surprised, and I love watching the video and just seeing his facial expression, and then as a parent, it was just
I was so proud of him. Listen, I
Yeah.
love Trap, but I was surprised too.
Yeah. I think he was just like,
No, but
I got this.
he has a really, really good heart.
Oh, he
and
really
he
does.
But his energy, he has energy from the sun, and it.
From
But
the sun.
we were
Well put.
we were pretty pumped for him.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep going though. What else about your family?
So, I've worked locally for Dun & Price for about 15, 16 years, and they've been really good to me through the years. And, Lindsay's working for Connecticut,
Yeah.
gas control company, and she's worked with them for,
I've been with them. This will be my 5th year with
Yeah.
them, and
it's been a great gig for you.
it's shift work, so it works out really good for a family dynamic. And
Yeah.
it's funny because as a mom, you wouldn't think it would, but it really does. It
been
allows
really good
me.
for y'all.
In the way that they allow me to work, I get to be home a lot, and so with the kids, it just it really
It's bittersweet.
my job and Eric, God put them in my life at the same time, and so
That's awesome.
It was a really, really big impact on my life, my job, and then also
Mainly me.
mainly Eric.
Yeah,
but
you would take the credit for that.
yeah,
wouldn't you?
there was a moment though, and God really showed up for me and Lila with Eric Trap in my job.
I love it. So, what about hobbies? Like, what do y'all like to do for fun? I know some of them are probably personal hobbies. Some of them are more family oriented.
Lindsay loves to hunt and fish.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Can't keep her out
Wow.
of the woods, right?
No. If we're talking about hunting for seashells, I really
You're
enjoy
all about that. Yeah.
That's very true. We have a collection.
Yeah.
But if you catch us between September and January, it's hunting, and me and the kids. Trap likes to hunt, but we
Yeah.
like to go for the camping experience. And then right after hunting in January,
Right after.
there's fishing. What is it called? Spawn.
No spawn.
Spawn.
Whatever that is, right?
Oh, I think it's never they're having the babies.
It's getting awkward.
Yes.
And so
Remember, this is a family podcast.
it's family
I'm
friendly.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Everybody
No,
loves
you're doing
babies.
great. Yeah.
And so we go fishing, and it's just they're both really good family experiences. So no, I am not an avid hunter or fisher, but
Yes, you are.
I enjoy
You
it.
like to be out there with
I do.
everybody.
I do.
Yeah.
We like being outside.
good
And for
quality
the kids, I don't know, my greatest memories is getting to do that kind of stuff as a kid. So I enjoy getting them to see them do it.
What about like extracurriculars that you maybe have the kids involved
Well,
in?
so like we talked about on take one is, our kids were involved in sports
Thanks.
for the last.
This is where take one ended, right, by the way. So from here on out,
I'll leave it alone. Sorry, but basically, for the last 4 years, Lila and Chep have both been involved in baseball, softball,
and
soccer,
gymnastics,
basketball, gymnastics.
Yeah.
And you want to do everything your kid wants to do for the most part, but this year they decided not to.
Wow.
I don't know if it was the COVID thing that kind of slowed them down, but it was a blessing.
Yeah.
This summer and the spring, we had no sports to go run
around,
track practice.
Yeah, I think they both kind of got burnt out on it
a little bit. Yeah.
and it was their choice. I mean, we offered, and we always sign them up because I enjoy watching them compete, especially Trap.
Sure.
You know, he's just such a competitor, and so I missed baseball this year,
Sure,
but he decided not to do it. So.
Yeah, Rhett decided not to do it too. My son.
Yeah.
I have a wife, Amber, and 2 kids, Reagan and Rhett, and both of them kind of gave up a couple of things. Reagan gave up dance, Rhett gave up baseball this year, but they do guitar and piano, and Rhett does jujitsu, and Reagan does some of the school sports, and so we got a lot of things going on as well, and that's kind of a good lead into what I wanted us to talk about today. Is I want us to talk about busyness. I read an article a couple of months ago called "Don't Die at the Altar of Busyness." And it made me start thinking about how we interact, how we conversate. And I started to think about, like, when you go to somebody, you say, "Hey, how you doing?" Almost every time somebody's going to say, "Oh, I'm super busy," or "I'm really busy. Yeah, it's a busy time." Or,
then you get the, "Man, I know what you mean. Me too."
Yeah. And then everybody starts listening. "Hey, here's what I got going on." And it becomes this competition thing.
Yeah. Right.
Head above water, sort of thing like that. And so it's one of those things that I think busyness affects all of us. We're, right now, we're all married people at this table, and I want everybody to know that this isn't just for married couples that that have kids and a bunch of stuff running around like that. It's also this is single people, this is couples without children, this is empty nesters, this is widows. Everybody probably feels a certain level of overwhelm when it comes to their schedule, because our culture breeds this type of busyness. It tells us that to be productive, you got to be busy all the time, right? And so that's the real problem that we're running into. So we're going to dive into some of those topics, but I think it's good that you guys are, maybe in a season right now that isn't quite as busy, but what it felt like to feel more busy in the past. So we'll kind of talk about both of those things as we go through. But I wanted to bring up a guy who I'm in a really tough season right now, and I know we just said that we compare and we do all this, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Right, producer Butterworth? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and vent about how busy I am right now. But we're in like a really weird season, man. We're moving. I'm trying to get my parents moved out to the property that we bought. We got a lot of irons in the fire, just a lot of different things happening, and honestly, like, with a lot of what's going on, I don't feel like prepared or qualified to take care of it, so it's overwhelming at times. Like, hey, am I making the right decisions? Am I
question everything?
Oh, dude, it's just so crazy. And so, like, with some of these things, I just, it's to be honest, like, I'm sort of teetering at times. Like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Amber looked at me, or she texted me earlier today. I just want you to be okay.
Good grief.
So, it's one of those things. This is like confession time for the Louviers. It's really weird that we planned this podcast a while back, and this is the season of life that I'm doing this podcast with y'all.
Yeah, me and Amber were actually talking about this last night at small group.
Were y'all really behind my back?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Because I wasn't at small group because I had to do something for the young adults.
Right, and that's why we were talking about it.
Because of all your irons.
Overstaffed.
Yeah. People were asking where you were, and then the conversation, well, he almost forgot. And I was like,
It happens. For me, it happens all the time.
So
it's
perfect
really
timing for this podcast.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. We're talking about this issue. I don't feel like an expert. I actually feel like a failure in a lot of ways when it comes to this. How do y'all feel about this? Do y'all feel like y'all got it together, or no?
Absolutely not.
No. No.
I mean, you can see it whenever you take the break during the summer, right, with the kids, and they chose to do that. We didn't choose to do that per se, but you can see it, and you're like, man, this is nice.
Yeah,
this is nice. And even the kids are like, I just want to be home. but you don't ever taste that until you do it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're not busy outside of extracurricular things, but we're busy with work.
Well, I think we just realize, because usually every year we have the baseball, and then that usually leads into All-Stars, and that takes up the whole summer.
A lot of the summer, yeah.
And to take that out and seeing how much time's available without that there, it was just really eye-opening. And don't get me wrong, I'm thankful for the extra time, but I also miss,
we doing those things. Yeah.
I miss the experience of getting to see my kids at the ballpark and just the community there. And
definitely. And so I'll just kind of start by telling y'all a story that I was told this past weekend, because I am in that season, and my friends who know me best can see it in my eyes. Like, they can see, like, is this, we can tell something's off, sort of thing. You know how everybody is. And so I know y'all know a guy that I know real well. His name is Bubba Sharpton.
Oh, he got you.
Yeah, so Bubba's a good friend most of the time until he doesn't want to be.
But it's always good.
Then he's pretty mean.
It hurts your feelings.
Then hurts your feelings. Eric, you know Bubba pretty well, right?
I know him well. Yeah, he's married to my cousin.
Yeah, so y'all are family. Mm-hmm. And so Bubba was he saw it in my face on Sunday, and he said, "Hey man, how's it going?" And I gave him the standard, "Oh, it's fine" answer. And he's like,
he came back at you.
And he said, "Let me tell you a story." He said, "You know how when you have a fire, you can have it like rip roaring, just hot fire." And he said, you put one piece of iron in that fire, and that's going to draw some of the heat out of that fire. And he said, but as you add more and more irons to that fire, like brands, like let's say you're branding cattle, if you add too many, you're going to suck all the heat out of that fire, and the fire is going to go out. And he just walked away.
It's like mic drop.
I was like, dude, get away from me.
Walked away with a smile.
Yeah, you know how he is, right? Yeah, we need to put up a picture of Bubba whenever we're doing this, just so people can know. And so, he just walks away, and Brandy looks at me like, yeah, he's right.
What do you do? What do you do?
Brandy knew he was right. Yeah, so, I mean, but he is right. And I think, we've all seen this type of, busyness, and we can look, and sometimes we mistake busyness for accomplishment, right? Or effectiveness. And I think the reality is it doesn't necessarily equate to being accomplished or being effective in your life. And so I want to ask you guys, when have you seen that level of busyness where it like is over the top? It's beyond what you can really effectively manage. When have you seen it negatively impact your life and actually make you less effective in the things that you were trying to accomplish?
So it's funny, we talked about this. We kind of talked about this last night in small group.
Really?
Me and Brandy, Bubba. Us A-Bears tend to be goal-oriented and very task-driven and very much a list, if you will. I won't go into the other side of the list part, but basically we're big on list.
Yeah. So want to check it off, right?
So we want to check it off.
Producer Butterworth, you know how that is, right?
Oh, I love a good list.
Yeah. So
I am
do you really?
Complete opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right
so,
here.
I'm the
Me and you can be
opposite.
there.
Really
It's
big on
jumbled
lists.
up.
Really big lists. I got lists on my list. and they have to be scratched off too.
Correct.
Yeah.
I got to the point to where I have notes in my phone that are the generic list. So where I can at least just spit those out. Anyways.
Yeah, now y'all are just being prideful and showing off. So
anyways, so whatever. So
We're organized.
But again, it's production driven. I mean, I better have everything on that list, or if I don't, dang it, I forgot something.
Yeah.
And that's just how we're wired. But it's like that in everything. I mean, even the tasks, you go shopping, you forget something. Well, it's because I didn't have a list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you go to the camp and you forget something. Well, it's because I didn't have a list. Dang it, I forgot something. I'll have to pick it up later.
You just need to work on your memory.
Or it could be totally opposite. You just don't care.
Yeah.
So, if you have everything, and it's just how I'm wired.
Yeah.
But it's a success. It's all or nothing.
Yeah. When have you seen that negatively affect you though? Like where it actually makes you less effective because the busyness overtakes even the list making?
Well, basically, you if I screw up one time, I'm like, just whatever, it's done.
Really? So it affects your psyche more than anything. Yeah. Now, Lindsey, you said that you were more on the side of no list. Like
No
me.
list, yes.
And so I know people like us, when we do that, it works when we're not overly loaded.
Right.
But when we're overloaded, it can hit the floor very quickly.
It does. It does.
Hit the fan.
I knew what you meant.
I meant things would drop, but I see.
You did it right.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry.
Go ahead, Lindsey.
It does. And whenever there's too many things piled up, more than likely I experience a lot of inconveniences because I have to go back and redo things, and it ends up costing me more time. And with being a mom, the negative effect of that, or the negative side effect for me, is I guess just my personality, and I think a lot of people can relate to it. I have a hard time saying no. And if I take on too many yeses, and I don't have enough time to do what I would like to see as a mom done, it usually starts to affect me emotionally, and I become a lot more easily triggered,
like irritable.
Irritable.
Yeah,
yes, my fuse is really short, and then I've become so. I criticize myself because
then you get disappointed,
right? Because I'm not doing my number one role that I want to see done the best good. I'm just doing it,
You're not giving 100%.
Yeah, and so I think for the list makers and the non-list makers, I bet there's people on both sides of that struggle to say no, and I think that we all struggle to say no because it feels good to say yes.
I mean, just I agree. Just talking to you about you moving.
Right?
Yeah. Call me. I want to help you.
right.
That's the first thing I think about.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though I know I'm busy, but
Yeah, you ain't got no time, but
I'll add it to the list to help you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean,
And I'll just show up.
We all just want to say yes, and I think that causes so many fractures, and it causes us not to be who we want to be. And I think I relate to you so much in the stress that it causes, because then what I've seen in my own life is I get really disappointed because I'm not at my best for anyone or anything.
No.
You know what I mean?
You're giving a little bit to everybody.
Yeah.
Just to check it off.
And so everyone's
the list
disappointed.
You don't have. Right.
That's how I feel. I mean, people aren't really some are, but not everybody. The people
You're more or
who
less
love me,
disappointed yourself because you know really what you're not giving into.
and it feels like, man, I'm just letting everybody down, and that's been on my mind lately. Like, why have that feeling? And I think it's because when you take on so much, it's just impossible to be effective with everything. And so I want us to kind of go into when have we seen this type of busyness have that negative impact on your life when it comes to actual like relationships or health or your patience? You talked about this a little bit when it came to becoming more irritable. I think you need to maybe go a little bit further into that, because I bet a lot of people, especially women, but even men, would really relate to what you're talking about there. So tell us a little bit more, like, how have you seen this negatively impact relationships, health, and all that kind of stuff? Well,
usually I become disconnected from my most important relationships, between Eric and my kids. In my mind, they're my top priority, but that's not always what my actions show with my busyness. And I see that they get the lesser side of me, and the to-dos that I have jumbled up in my head, since I don't have a list, is getting the best of me. But, my aunt, y'all shouted out to people, so I'm going to shout out to my Aunt Carol.
Hey, Aunt Carol, how you doing?
I don't have it anymore, but it's always on my mind whenever I do get too busy. She sent me and a couple of other girls in our family. It's from one of the Daily Bread books that are here. And it was a mom that wrote it out and talking about the busyness of being a mom and getting pulled in all kind of different directions. And you want to wear all the capes that you can, but we're not meant to be super moms, and we're only meant to focus on the eternal things. And whenever I find that I'm getting too busy, it's like I have to self-check myself to resort back to that and to remember that, because my eternal things are it's to putting in the nurture in my kids and in my marriage. And so whenever I get too busy, I see them suffering, and I have to always resort back to remembering what the things in my life that are eternal. Yeah,
Eric,
it's big.
I'll go to you next, because I bet most men would agree that when we have become busy, our communication suffers.
It's better. No.
Especially our communication with our spouse. So tell me, like, when's a time where getting overloaded, getting overwhelmed has caused you to sort of withdraw and not be as good of a communicator, and what that did between you and Lindsey?
It has been, honestly, it's been in the last few months.
Yeah.
We've been ramping up at work, and I get very tunnel visioned on being successful with that, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I want my my boss to be proud, and
Sure.
I want to produce, right? Again, producing driven. We just get tunnel visioned in doing exactly that, and we forget about everything on the side. Or we give that fraction to my wife, my fraction to my kids, my fraction to my health, my fraction to anything. And you pretty much just don't give 100% to anything.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you're giving 100% to work, but the second you upset someone at home, then everything else just feels all jacked up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you just kind of feel like, well, what am I doing this for?
And the unfortunate thing is when we feel that type of stress, especially when it comes from work, we'll put the family on the back burner because they'll understand.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
We think, right.
And that's what we think.
Yeah.
But like the long-term hurt
Effect.
and effect of that is just so much worse than if we would let our boss down.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
And
Because
so,
he's dealing with the same thing,
yeah, exactly.
whether he admits it or not.
Yeah, and so we take some liberties with our family relationships that probably we shouldn't take if we really had the long-term view of this type of stuff.
Correct. That's right.
You know?
It's very true. We talk about that a lot because when I get tunnel visioned and it comes to that, she's like, "You're focusing on work." I'm like, "Oh no."
Well, and
But she's right.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
at the end of the day, she's right because I am focusing too much one way. Then
well, and we had a conversation recently because work is really busy for him, and it goes through seasons. Like there's spurts that he's not as busy.
Yeah.
And
don't say too much.
well, I mean, it's just super busy
Yeah,
right
no, I
now
get
for
it.
him.
Yeah.
And I forgot what we were talking about, but it was along the lines of work, and we were getting ready to go somewhere, and he knew he was going to be distracted with work, and he just told me, he was just like, I'm just going to need you to show me some grace, and so I think between small group, Fight Club, and Journey, it's really helped with us learning, to communicate up front.
Yes.
Sure. Even though he still is distracted with work, he at least, I appreciate the communication of being like, hey, I'm aware I'm busy. Just show me some grace in this moment, and so it makes it a little easier for me.
I'll tell you
for me to handle.
What's bad for me, and this is, kind of a semi-apology to Amber.
Sorry, Amber.
Sorry.
Sorry,
When
Amber.
I get focused on all the things that I have to do for work or for, other stuff, whatever it may be, our kids are involved in a lot. Like, it used to be worse, honestly, because when they were doing baseball and dance,
Right.
but they decided not to do that, but they still have guitar and piano and jiu-jitsu and, the extra stuff that Reagan does for the school. And all that seems to fall to Amber sometimes because I overbook myself and I overextend myself. And, so it makes it very stressful on her. And man, in the name of not wanting to let anybody down, I'll let her down, and that makes me feel even worse. And so, yeah, being overextended, I know there's a lot of people out there that their kids are, playing ball every weekend. So that this is a real thing for a lot of people. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but learning how to navigate this life and figure out how to find those moments where you can not be so spread so thin. Another thing I was thinking about for me, what's crazy?
There's a lot.
I know. Especially when it comes to me. When I get asked to do something, it's almost, there's a little bit of pride involved in it. Like, I can handle that. I can get that done. You know what I mean? And almost to the point of, if I don't do it, it won't get done, which is just insane.
Yeah,
No, they'll just ask someone else. Like,
Well, and I have a fear that if I don't say yes, they're not going to come to me again, and I don't want to cut somebody off.
that's why you agreed to do this podcast.
Maybe.
Just kidding.
I had to make it up to him for cutting them
Yeah,
out.
you did cut him out of the Easter videos, but no big deal.
It's really take 3. It's this one I'm involved.
Third take.
And so that's a fear for me whenever it comes to saying no, because I don't want them to not come to me again because I said no one time and I just couldn't fit it.
Yeah.
And
Which is, all of these fears are irrational fears.
It's just hard to say no to somebody because you feel like you let them down every single time, you know?
Yeah.
well, and then you want your kids to see you fulfill needs to people and be in community to where you're serving people.
Right.
And I do truly have a heart for that, but just sometimes
It's a hard balance.
Just sometimes there's some things I can't. I have to be aware that if I pile too much on, I lose focus on my number one priority, which is home. And so I have to.
So I have a friend, his name is Bo Guidry.
I have a friend named that.
Yeah, he's been a friend and a mentor. He's a mentor because he's much, much older than I am.
Much.
And so he's been a friend for a long time. And Gramps, right?
Gramps,
Yeah, Gramps. He has this thing like when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And I have to remind myself of that because you're right. Yeah, I know. And like that's the thing is we want to say yes to everything because we don't want to let people down. But like every time we say yes to something, we're saying no to something else. And so we have to make decisions about priorities and what we're going to allow to take the precedence in our lives. And so it's just so hard.
You actually told me that very thing.
Did I?
At the camp last year.
Jeez.
So I haven't forgot that.
Dum.
John hasn't either. He hasn't remembered it.
I haven't
No, he forgot.
or forgot it.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, what were we talking about?
Well, we're just talking about priorities because you had already made a commitment to your family to take them on a trip.
Yeah.
But it was around the rut, if you will.
Yeah.
And you had already committed.
Do y'all
and
know
I
what
saw
that is?
there was no changing your mind, even though I tried.
Yeah.
As another brother,
Yeah.
right?
How can you take them on a trip during the rut?
Right. So
Speaking of babies.
Right.
Yeah, family friendly.
right. So anyways, but I mean, it impacted me because I'm like, I saw it in your eyes and you were sincere. Like, no, there's no, I'm going on this trip.
Yeah.
And it meant a lot, you know, because it's easy to get in that season of life and just be like, well, I'm checked out for the next 3 or 4 months.
I hear you.
And your family just has to deal with it.
Right.
That ain't right.
Well, that's the thing. I may not be good at this, but I know it's a problem.
Right.
I'm through step one. Like I acknowledge that I have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so, listen, I want us to end today by talking about some things that maybe you've done or you want to do to make sure that busyness doesn't take over your life. Maybe some things, some boundaries, some protections that you've put in place in your life, you know, that, hey, this is a stop. This is a block. This is something that triggers us to talk about this and make sure that it doesn't become a problem. Have y'all done anything like that? Have y'all put anything into place?
No, but I would say this summer, just us seeing the quiet few months, if you will, I think has brought it to our attention more or less. You agree?
No, definitely.
Because normally you're like everyone else. Yeah, y'all playing this year? Yeah, you coaching this year? Yeah, you doing it? Yeah. You feel obligated because nobody else wants to step up. But it's nice just to feel that breath and that fresh air of not having to do that. We can do it next year. Yeah. You know?
But maybe not as bad, right?
But you just may not be involved because you remember what it tasted like when you weren't so busy.
Yeah.
You know? So it's good, kind of good to feel that fresh air.
Yeah.
It has been for us.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the protections that I have is people like y'all, people like Bubba, people like Chance, and our small group, all of our community here, the community that I have in my life. I've opened my life up to them for them to be able to tell me, hey man, like you look off here lately. What's up? Mm-hmm. And they can ask me those questions. And I've even given them permission to, when I say I'm fine, don't accept that. Out. You know, like everybody knows when we're lying.
Right.
You know, and so I think the community that we have in our lives goes a long way to protecting us from ourselves.
You know, when we started, and she can attest to this too, and a lot of people probably can, but even the small group, just committing to it. What was it, 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
It was 4.
Just making that commitment to step forward that one step and go see what it was about, then go the next time, and then kind of commit to something like that. It was a huge step for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
because we didn't want to. We didn't want to lose our Sunday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever day of the week it be.
Yeah.
Well, and that is a boundary for us. I know it's not the same for every family, but we're involved in things on Sundays, between being here for church and me serving for the girls' small group, having small group at night, and then also being part of the Wednesday night groups. It's important for us to have that community.
Yeah.
And so anything that we do add to our lives and our kids' activities, it doesn't interfere with that.
Yeah, those are not non-negotiables.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I would almost self-destruct, I feel, if I wasn't plugged in the way that I am, because of how busy things can get. I need the people around me that will be honest in a loving way and that will call me out in love, to let me know, like, hey, you might want to rethink this. Yeah. And so our small group, they've been huge. And then I plugged into Journey.
Yeah, for she and I, for sure.
I plugged into Journey recently whenever it opened last year, and then Him Fight Club, and it's just added a whole nother dynamic. And so those things are anything that we add to our lives can't interfere with that.
Yeah, mentioning Journey and Fight Club, I bet y'all said how much that helped your communication. I bet when y'all would recognize communication breakdowns that would come from this that we're talking about, I bet that would be a block or a protection for y'all, like, because it would get real obvious if you're communicating well and then you're not.
Right.
There's something here. There's something going on.
With work recently, because it goes from, not so busy then to like really busy. For me, I was like, wait a minute, like I feel really disconnected from you, and I need to talk about it. Girls talk about it.
She wouldn't say anything, and I was like,
she's just stewing.
It was like a volcano waiting, and so this go around, I've sometimes not in the best ways, but I feel like I've done a little better with it. But we have been more open with talking about it with each other, and also him realizing that I am going to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's crazy, Amber and I have been married 16 years. Y'all said y'all were 4. Right. Mm-hmm. This is a constant work in progress. Right. We've been married a long time, but, for 10 years, we were terrible at communication. We're just starting to try to figure it out, much less figure it out. Yeah. So maybe in our 20th year, we'll have some of this stuff down.
It never stops. I mean,
we got to keep working at it,
we
right?
get lazy and,
And that's why, I know I keep coming back to the groups, but if we weren't involved in the groups, I really wouldn't have anybody to talk to that I can, gain knowledge from, or
it's so true,
or just to kind of bounce things off of, or to see other examples lived out and how that looks, so getting to speak with you guys as a couple, Amber as a woman, Olivia, it just,
you feel normal,
right? And everybody,
you feel normal.
Your problems aren't unique to you,
right? And everybody struggles with the busyness and the lack of communication, and it's great to see how people work through that in the highs and the low parts of it. It's just
sometimes,
great to,
sometimes a woman, sometimes it doesn't. You're not going to call me out on something because I'm not going to want to hear it, but it'll come from him,
and it'll be received.
Ouch.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes that balance.
It takes the community. It takes a village to raise a man.
Absolutely.
Well,
I think I got that saying wrong too.
Yeah, you did.
I did it on purpose though.
The bottom time. In the fan.
It's sad when you have to explain your jokes.
You can edit that, I think.
No, I don't want to edit it. That was an actual joke.
Okay, all right, moving on.
But I had to explain it. But hey, listen, I want to know, you guys have entered and been in a less busy season because of some decisions that were made, maybe not of your own, but maybe by your kids. Yeah. And, same for us. But I'd like for everybody, whether you're listening and watching us here at this table, dream a little bit about not how you can feel that busyness, but what you can put in the place of that, like in those moments of quiet and stillness, like what you've seen this summer that you've been able to do that's even more fulfilling than the rat race that you maybe found yourself in before.
It's something that's small. Sit on the back porch with me and her.
I was going to say the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I mean, not even with the kids, just she and I.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sunsets.
Right. I mean, we get to take them. We have like a little part of the river by our house, and we get to take them down and just, I don't know, it's just more quality time, I guess. And
No, absolutely quality time.
And then even just leaving yourself open to see the sweeter moments that normally you wouldn't see because you're just moving. You're constantly just moving.
Yeah.
And just, I preach it to my kids about leaving your mind open to where you can hear from God. And, but I fell at that daily, with just busyness. But stepping back and not having so much these past few months, made me realize how much I was missing out on that too, because I was too busy in my own thoughts of what I needed to do.
Growing up as kids, we'd get a ball and go play in the yard.
Right.
It's not the case anymore.
You didn't need an event.
So, right. So to slow down, it reminds me of when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It really is what it does. And I like my kids to see that part of it too, because they're always busy.
That's right.
Just like we are.
Yeah.
And the iPads we constantly are just like,
put that stuff away.
Don't touch it again.
Let's do something
tomorrow.
else. Yeah.
It's like
Don't
they would
touch
wake up and be like, what are we doing today? I'm like, this is it.
Look around, friends.
Yeah. But honestly, though, you can attest.
But we built that in them.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's self-inflicted.
Right. No.
But in the last few weeks, I mean, it's hot outside, but they'll go outside and jump on the trampoline.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. And they were making domino obstacle courses today. So just to see them to see them just enjoy the things that I remember, and like he was saying, as being a kid, and just I don't know, having just good fun without an activity.
Yeah, and so our goal today is not to make anyone feel bad that maybe their life is sort of spinning right now, like I said, mine is, and so. That's not the goal, but I think it is to get people to kind of think about what it looks like to be intentional about finding that margin in our lives and in our schedules, that we would go from a place of, oh gosh, my head is spinning out of control, to a place where I can sit and watch the sun go down and enjoy that time and not have all these other worries.
Disconnect in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Right. So over the last... we had the Fight Club challenge for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges to disconnect off social media. Well, that's a struggle for a lot of people because it's just a tick. It's just a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Busyness.
But some of the men in there, when we did it, it was just like they didn't know what to do with themselves. But at the end,
what do I do with my hands? Yeah.
I'm not getting back on. You know, or you realize the things you're missing out on when you just slow down and just stop.
Yeah, and don't and not to get us wrong either. Next year we might be
right back in.
We might have 3 different sports we're involved with, but it's just I think this has just made us realize the things that we would like to see continue just on our own beings. Just even if we are having all these activities, we still want to cherish, our family time and our kids having, just good fun without the activity.
And that's not going to happen naturally.
No.
We have to be intentional about that. Correct. And so even in the busy seasons, I think that's what we're saying. I think that's the culmination of what we're coming to, is that even in the busy seasons, we can intentionally choose to prioritize some of these downtimes that create those moments in our families and in our relationships and with the people that we love the most, to find those times and to really cherish them and maximize them and not just speed through them to the next thing that we have to accomplish and have to get done. Because
no matter how busy we get, in the upcoming years, now I want to make sure that I do get to have 10 minutes on the porch, or the kids call out, hey, y'all see the sunset, and to go outside just to look at it, know, and not to spend like a whole lot of time, but just to have those moments and to remember those moments are important.
Appreciate them.
Totally agree. Yeah. Well, listen, I want to thank y'all for being a part of the First Take, Second Take podcast. Third take. We're so glad that y'all joined us.
Hey, John, before we start closing out, because we mentioned Fight Club Journey groups, we mentioned that a lot. Just in case people are listening, they don't know what that is. Can we just kind of explain to them so they can have some context?
Yeah, I'd love to. Fight Club and Journey are really men's and women's discipleship groups. Where so we have our small group ministry that anybody can get into. They happen mostly on Sunday nights, Sunday mornings. But this is a little bit more intensive, I would say. It dives into more of the discipleship things. And so it's really a great opportunity to dive into the Word, into relationship with other people. And that, do y'all have anything to add?
Well, I mean, for the men, on the men aspect of it, it's men being real men, or being challenged to be real men. Put it that way. Put it that way. It might get awkward at times, but it's going to only grow you.
Yeah.
And it's healthy. Yeah. It's something that's been needed for a really long time. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I love it. And Journey is the same thing for women, but
it's the same, but it's just a great opportunity to get to be in community just with women, and to kind of dig deep within ourselves, and that ultimately help grow us as people in Christ. And it's really been an amazing experience.
I love it. Producer Butterworth, do we have a place where people can go to sign up for that, or should they just talk to Bo or myself here at the church and we can get them connected? I don't think there's a live website right now.
No, we don't have anything live, but I mean, you can always text our number.
Yeah, we'll put that number in the show caption, but we'll also put it maybe on the screen. You can text that number for more information, and we'll get you connected. Yeah,
just text Fight Club or Journey or small group.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun going forward. But I want to thank y'all. Y'all have really given a lot of insight to someone who struggles with this so badly like I do. But I also want to thank all of you for listening. If you like this type of content and you want more of it, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. The First Moss Bluff podcast, wherever you get it, whether it be Spotify, YouTube, wherever. Like it and share it with all of your friends. Comment, ladies or guys, if you shop at Sway. Comment your favorite thing that you've ever bought at Sway. Let us know what it is. Give us some ideas. Go get your Father's Day gifts there. And so we're looking forward to our next episode of First Take. We'll see you then.